Welcome to Dividends, the show for and about your College of Business. A great program today. Summer is almost here, and that means, well, it means several things, but one of those things is Lemonade Day. It is an outreach effort through the College of Business, but we can't do it without partners. And one of those great partners is Lisa Klutz with the Growth Alliance in West Point, and happy to have you here.
Thanks, I'm glad to be here.
So, Lemonade Day got canceled last year because of COVID. It didn't seem like a good idea to have folks buying and selling lemonade and having lemonade stands around the city, but it's back for 2021. Why did the city of West Point get involved in this?
Well, the kids love something to do in the summertime, and what more fun than to have a lemonade stand downtown West Point.
Yeah, it's really neat to see.
Yes. Make money and learn how to use that money. So,
yeah, for folks who aren't familiar with Lemonade Day, it is a national program out of Houston, Texas, and you buy a license, and with that license you get these supporting materials that allow you to help teach kids about business when they set up their lemonade stand. And they register, and you know where all the stands are. They're online. They can go to the bank and get a microloan, and our bank partner is?
Cadence Bank.
Yeah, and they are in, of course, all communities that we're doing Lemonade Day, which is Columbus, Starkville, and West Point. So the kids can go to the bank and get a microloan, 30 or 40 bucks, and they get a lesson on credit, and then they can use the money to buy supplies for their stand, and then they pay back the loan, and surprisingly, just about every child has paid back the loan. That's kind of neat to see.
They did, and they pay like 25 cents interest. So.
Oh, yeah. So you... What's it like for you? I mean, you're involved in the chamber and promoting your community, and I know how much you love West Point. To walk around and just, when you saw all these stands and all these kids.
Well, I'm in Chamber of Commerce, Industrial and Economic Development, and big businesses are the backbone of the community, but small businesses are the heartbeat. And to see young entrepreneurs get started with their lemonade stand and start a business and know what it takes, the hard work, but also the rewards that go in it. Lemonade stands is just fun. And to see them spread out in front of their neighborhoods, in front of businesses, in the park downtown, and then just to get to drink lots of lemonade and shop with them.
And there's a goal with this. It's not just to have the lemonade stands. They're taught to do, or asked to do three things, and that is they save some of the money, because that makes a lot of sense, right? Spend some of the money, because it's cool to earn money and then be able to go out and buy yourself something. But the last piece of that is really important, and that's to share. So the kids pick a charity or someone they want to share it with. Can you tell us any of the folks who benefited from that in West Point? Any organizations?
Like the animal shelter is always popular. It's always popular. Yeah. To give back to the community. I mean, to be involved with making money and supporting the community, but also giving back and supporting it also.
I was also surprised at just how creative the kids were with some of those stands. I mean, it was just so neat. What were some of the more unique or clever stands that you saw?
Well, I mean, they're bright and colorful, but then when you have the photo opportunity to take a picture with Lemmy, who goes around and visits all the lemonade stands.
Funny you should mention Lemmy. All right, I hate to ask you to do this, but let's look at the pictures first, because there we've got, so you can go ahead and tell us about these photos.
Well, there's two children that came to Cadence Bank and got a microloan and got their booklet and their backpack and all the materials they need to start their lemonade stand. Well, that was Lemmy at the end of the day after visiting more than 20 lemonade stands and wanted to get her sugar checked because she had drinking a lot of lemonade. This was a neat stand in the middle of downtown in front of the cleaners.
Absolutely love that.
And Lemmy went to the schools and visited third grade class and talked through what it means to budget your money and to save your money and to spend your money.
Yeah, and Lemonade Day provides those workbooks, which is just a great teaching tool for the kids.
Yes. And Lemmy went to businesses and just supported the lemonade stands and promoted them all over West Point.
Look at that little stand. So Lemmy looks awfully familiar to me. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Wow. I kind of hate to do this because it's kind of like Batman taking off his mask, and everyone will know that it's Bruce Wayne. Yeah, so what was it like wearing this on a hot summer day?
Yeah, it's hot in here.
Well,
But we take breathers, and Lemmy doesn't talk a lot. Can you hear me now?
you can take it.
Okay, thank you.
So there are actually two Lemmys.
There is.
There's the West Point Lemmy, and there's the Starkville Lemmy. And the Starkville Lemmy actually went around and had his picture made with some of the Mississippi State coaches, went to a meeting at City Hall where we got a proclamation declaring Lemonade Day.
We did that.
So yeah, Lemmy's a great ambassador for the event. So looking forward to this year. We couldn't do it last year because of COVID.
No, but I think so many kids are ready for this year. They are ready.
And the date is June 19th, and we'll be pushing out a lot of materials on how folks can get involved, but we wanted to give you the background on Lemonade Day. So Lisa, thank you so much.
Thanks,
for
I'm
coming
excited
over.
too.
And for putting on the Lemmy helmet, the hat, that was pretty good. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more in just a moment.
So you have an idea. It's exciting, it's original, it's genius, and you think it could be the next big thing. But how do you turn this idea into reality? At the Entrepreneurship Center, we will guide you through every step of the entrepreneurial process and help along the way, from developing and enhancing your idea to building your product and bringing it to market. Our programs will help refine your idea and connect you with other creative individuals. You can collaborate with students and discover their brilliant ideas, learn from expert faculty and accomplished business leaders, and even receive money to expand your venture and start your own company. Whether your idea is a revolutionary product, app, or service, we can help. The Entrepreneurship Center at Mississippi State University. From invention to innovation, it starts here.
There are a number of student activities that students can get involved with, but few of them know that they can start a company while they're in school. We want students to consider that when they come to school here, they have 4 years to create themselves a job, create a new venture, and that's really what the center's here to provide. We're here to provide the resources, connections, and programs that can help them start a company. The background of our students is extremely diverse. All across campus, students are getting involved, forming these companies, and people, all sorts of different backgrounds, coming together to create these startups that are just doing amazing things. Regardless of where you're at in the entire startup process, whether you're coming in with a fresh idea, already have an established company, or just are trying to get interested in entrepreneurship, we want to put students in a position where they feel encouraged and supported to pursue their passions so they can make an impact no matter what field or industry they go into.
Welcome back, everyone. Joining me now is Ryan Wehl, and he's a student at Mississippi State, graduating here very shortly, or perhaps already graduated by the time folks see this. You did something very, very interesting. Folks may recall in the news that there was this crazy run-up of stock for GameStop, the retail store where you go in, you rent video games, things like that, right?
Yes, sir.
You were a part of all that. So walk us through this. What was this fascination with GameStop and getting the price up, and just tell the story.
Absolutely. So I started off just active in a community on Reddit called Wall Street Bets, and I've been hearing about GameStop for about a year. And at first, I was really skeptical.
What was the chatter about GameStop? And we all know what it is. What was this special underground chatter about?
It was just one guy saying GameStop is grossly undervalued and just posting pictures. He's like, now I have $140,000 in the stock. Now I have $250,000 in the stock. And everybody called him crazy. I mean, you can still go back and look at the history of his comments, and it's literally just people saying, dude, what are you doing? This is nuts,
right.
Stuff like that. Because, I mean, 130% of the stock was shorted. More than the stock existed was shorted by the big hedge funds and stuff like that. And then this guy, random guy on Reddit, just kept on putting money in there.
Yeah, so the stock's taken off.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a lot of small investors. But the crazy part was the big boys didn't like it. So walk us through that, because it became really heated and Congress got involved.
Yeah, so as it started blowing up, the big investors who had it shorted, like Citron and stuff like that, they had to buy out of the stock as it was at $200, $300, $400, and they were pretty upset with retail investors were winning per se. And I watched my shares that I bought in at $40 pump up to $420 before all of a sudden the retail or the big guys went and they went to the clearing houses or calling houses, and they made it to where we couldn't buy the stock anymore through Robinhood, because Robinhood.
Explain who Robinhood is.
Robinhood is an app that we use that made it like accessible for people like us. So I'm just a college kid, and I know I am a business major, but my computer science major friends, all like that, are starting on Robinhood, and like, hey, I bought a share of Tesla, because that's all that we know.
Well, but then the I'll call it the Reddit community, they started really pushing back. You know, all of a sudden the big boys were unhappy that the little guys were using their game to beat them.
Yeah.
And you guys got mad.
Yeah.
And you got in your car and drove to New York. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so whenever it started dipping back down and stuff like that, when we didn't have the ability to buy the stock, there was 5 of us, and we were all adrenaline pumping, our emotions were high, and we decided to hop in a car one Friday at 8 a.m. and we got there the next Saturday at 9 a.m. Just drove straight on through the night.
So what was the purpose of that? You shoulder roll into the car, you drive to New York, you get out of the car, and
we showed up on Wall Street and
on a Saturday. When Wall Street is
not open.
Yeah, okay.
So in hindsight, it would have been a lot cooler if there was a lot more people there, and the bankers are there and investors and stuff like that. But it was still like a life experience. We got to go to New York City with our friends. We did protest. There was like 200 something people there, and I bet we were the only folks from Mississippi on Wall Street.
So it's one of those
day.
great college stories that you've got now. All right, so we just have about a minute left. What's your takeaway from all this? I mean, when looking back on this.
Yeah, as we moved on, things keep on happening and stuff like that completely changes my perspective on the story. At first, I was like, Robinhood and the big bankers are the bad guys, and they're evil, and they screwed us over. But nowadays, I've kind of looked at it from a more mature term. I saw the court case and stuff like that, and I understood what was going on wasn't normal, and that the market couldn't even handle the volatility and everything that was happening. So I'm not really sure what the future holds, but I just have a more mature look at it nowadays.
Well, the takeaway is that it's going to be remembered. It's going to be an historic event, and it's something that you'll be able to say you were a part of and you experienced and you drove to New York. So best of luck to you on graduation. And man, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
That does it for this edition of Dividends. Thanks for joining us.